I still remember the weight of that grocery basket in my trembling hands. December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and I was standing in line at Save More grocery store, silently calculating whether I had enough money to buy a frozen chicken pot pie. A chicken pot pie. That's what my Christmas dinner had come down to. You know what the worst part was? It wasn't the money. It wasn't even spending Christmas alone for the 4th year in a row. It was the shame. The burning, suffocating shame of becoming invisible, of knowing that the world had moved on, and I had somehow been left behind. But what happened in that checkout line? What a 16-year-old boy did when I was 89 cents short? Well, it didn't just save my Christmas. It started something none of us saw coming, and I need to tell you this story, because maybe you've felt invisible too. Maybe you've stood somewhere, counting coins, wondering when life got so heavy. Or maybe you know someone who has. So please, before we go any further, if you appreciate real stories about real people, about kindness in the hardest moments, hit that subscribe button and leave a like. And I'd love to know, where are you watching from right now? What city, what state, what country? Drop it in the comments, because this story, it belongs to all of us. My name is Margaret Ann Porter. Maggie, if you're a friend, I'm 82 years old, and I used to be a 2nd grade teacher here in Grayson Falls, a little town about 40 minutes outside Nashville, Tennessee. For 38 years, I taught children how to read, how to add and subtract, how to share crayons and say please and thank you. I taught them that kindness matters, that people matter. I wonder sometimes if I still believed that myself. 4 years ago, my husband Robert died. Lung cancer. He was a good man, a mail carrier for 31 years. He knew everyone's name, everyone's dog, everyone's story. When he passed, it felt like the sun went out. We never had much money, but we had enough for a small house with a garden, enough for Sunday dinners with our daughter, Claire, enough for little luxuries, fresh flowers on the kitchen table, butter pecan ice cream on Friday nights, a real Christmas ham every year. But Robert's medical bills, they took everything, the house, the savings, even his truck. Now I live in a 1-bedroom apartment on Maple Street, 3rd floor, no elevator. My knees ache every time I climb those stairs. My pension covers rent, utilities, and not much else. Most months, I eat oatmeal for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and canned soup for dinner. I stopped inviting Claire over. Stopped pretending I could still host Thanksgiving or make my famous pecan pie. Pride, I guess, or shame. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. This December felt especially hard. The holidays have a way of making loneliness louder, don't they? The apartment building had put up Christmas decorations, red bows on every door, twinkling lights in the hallway, and every time I walked past them, I felt this ache in my chest. Because Christmas used to mean something in our house. Robert would put up the tree the day after Thanksgiving. We'd string popcorn and cranberries, play Bing Crosby records, drink hot cocoa with too many marshmallows. Claire would come over and we'd bake cookies until midnight. Snickerdoodles, gingerbread men, those little thumbprint ones with raspberry jam. Christmas Eve, we'd go to the candlelight service at church. Christmas morning, Robert would make his famous breakfast casserole. And for dinner, a proper feast. Ham with pineapple glaze, sweet potato casserole, green bean almondine, rolls so buttery they'd melt in your mouth, and pie, always pie. But this year, everything was different. Claire is my only child, my miracle baby. I was 41 when I had her. The doctors said it would never happen. But she came anyway, stubborn and perfect. With Robert's blue eyes and my determination, we were close once. So close. When she was little, she'd follow me everywhere. Mama's shadow, Robert used to call her. She'd sit at the kitchen table while I graded papers, coloring in her books, asking me 1,000 questions about everything. When she got older, we'd have movie nights every Friday. Just the two of us, with popcorn and hot chocolate, watching old classics. Casablanca, It's a Wonderful Life, The Sound of Music. She knew all the words, But then she went to college, met Daniel, got married, moved to Boulder for his job in tech, and slowly, so slowly I didn't even notice at first, we drifted apart. It wasn't anyone's fault. That's what I kept telling myself. She was busy building her life, her career. She's a graphic designer, and she's brilliant at it. Her marriage, her new friends in Colorado, and I was busy too. Teaching, taking care of Robert when he got sick, trying to keep our heads above water as the medical bills piled up. The phone calls became shorter, the visits less frequent. The last time Claire came to Grayson Falls was for Robert's funeral. 4 years ago. She stayed for 3 days. We barely talked. There were so many people, so many arrangements, so much grief filling up all the space where words should have been. When she left, she hugged me tight and said, "Mom, I'll come back soon. I promise." But she didn't. Oh, we talked on the phone, every Sunday at 2 p.m., like clockwork. But those calls, they were surface level, weather, work, Daniel's latest project, my latest doctor's appointment. We never talked about the things that mattered, about how lonely I was, about how much I missed her, about how terrified I was of becoming a burden. And I think she never talked about her own struggles either, about the pressure she felt, about the guilt that was eating her alive, about how she lay awake at night wondering if she was a terrible daughter. We were both protecting each other. And in doing so, we were losing each other. 3 weeks before Christmas, my phone rang. Sunday, 2 p.m., right on schedule. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, sweetheart. How are you?" "I'm good. Busy. You know how it is this time of year." Her voice sounded strained, tired. "I do. How's Daniel?" "He's fine, working a lot. His company is launching a new product in January, so that's good. That's really good." Silence. That uncomfortable silence that had become so normal between us. Then Claire took a breath. I could hear her steeling herself. "Mom, I need to talk to you about Christmas." My stomach dropped. I already knew what was coming. Daniel's mother, she's not doing well. Her heart. The doctors say this might be her last Christmas, and his whole family is gathering in Boulder. His sisters, his brother, everyone. And Daniel really needs me there. His mom specifically asked if we'd come. "Of course," I said quickly, too quickly. "Of course you should be there." "Mom." "No, really, Claire. Family is important. You should be with Daniel's family. But you're my family too. I know, sweetheart, but his mother is sick. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine." Another silence. Longer this time. "Are you?" Claire asked softly. "Are you really fine, Mom?" The question caught me off guard. When was the last time she'd asked me that and actually waited for an answer? "Yes," I lied. "I'm fine." "Because I worry about you, in that apartment, all alone. I worry all the time." "You don't need to worry about me." "But I do, Mom. I think about you every day. I think about how I should visit more, how I should call more, how I should—" Her voice cracked. "Claire, honey, listen to me. You have your own life, your own responsibilities. I don't expect you to drop everything for me. But you're my mother. And you're my daughter. And I want you to live your life without guilt, without feeling like you have to take care of me. Mom." She was crying now. I could hear it. "Go to Boulder, be with Daniel's family, spend Christmas with them. I'll be here when you get back." "Will you?" The question was barely a whisper. "What do you mean? Will you be here? Or will you just keep pulling away until we're strangers who talk on the phone once a week about nothing?" The words hit me like a physical blow, because she was right. That's exactly what was happening. "Claire, I miss you, Mom. I miss you so much. I miss our movie nights. I miss baking cookies with you. I miss us. When did we stop being us?" Tears were streaming down my face now. "I don't know, baby. I don't know." After Dad died, you shut down. You stopped letting me in. Every time I tried to talk about it, you'd change the subject. You'd say you were fine. You'd tell me not to worry. But I do worry, Mom. I worry that you're disappearing, and I don't know how to stop it. I didn't want to be a burden. A burden. Her voice rose. Mom, you could never be a burden. You're my mother. I love you. I want to know what's happening in your life. I want to help, but you won't let me. I'm just trying to protect you. From what? From seeing me like this, struggling, alone, old. Mom, Claire's voice was firm now. You're not old. You're 82, and you're still the strongest person I know, and you're not alone. You have me. You'll always have me. But you have to let me in. We both cried then, really cried, for the first time since Robert died. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry, Claire. I'm sorry, too. I should have visited more. I should have pushed harder. I should have... No more shoulds. Let's try to do better. Yeah, she said softly. Well, let's do better. We talked for another hour after that. Really talked. About Robert, about loneliness, about fear, about love. When we finally hung up, I felt lighter and heavier, both at the same time. Claire was still going to Boulder for Christmas. That hadn't changed. But something else had changed. Something important. We'd told each other the truth. After I hung up the phone, I sat at my little kitchen table and cried. Not because Claire chose her husband's family. That made sense. That was right. But because for the first time in 82 years, I would spend Christmas completely alone. No tree, no carols, no candlelight service, no one. I thought about not celebrating at all, just treating December 25th like any other day. Oatmeal, soup, bed. But then I remembered something Robert used to say. Maggie, traditions aren't about money. They're about showing up for life, even when life gets hard. So I decided I would do one thing, one small thing to honor the life we'd built together. I would make Christmas dinner. It wasn't much, but it was something. A small act of defiance against the loneliness, a way of saying, I'm still here, I still matter. On December 23rd, I woke up early. The sky outside was that heavy gray color that promises snow but never delivers. I put on my wool coat, the navy one with the missing button, wrapped my scarf twice around my neck, and walked the 6 blocks to Save More. The cold bit at my cheeks. My hip ached with every step. But I kept going. The store was busy. Families rushing through the aisles, grabbing last-minute items for their holiday feasts, children whining for candy canes, shopping carts overflowing with hams, champagne, imported cheese, premium chocolates. I walked slowly to the frozen food section, my breath visible in the cold air, and opened the frosted glass door. There it was, Marie Callender's chicken pot pie, family size, my Christmas dinner. I picked it up carefully, cradling it like something precious, and made my way to the front of the store. That's when I saw the lines. Every register had at least 10 people waiting. Carts piled high, impatient faces checking watches, tapping feet. I chose the shortest line. Register 4. There were 8 people ahead of me. I stood there, holding my single item, feeling small, feeling foolish. An 82-year-old woman in a worn coat, buying one frozen dinner 2 days before Christmas. I watched the families in front of me. A young mother with twin toddlers, her cart filled with everything you'd need for a real celebration. An older couple buying a spiral ham and all the trimmings. A man in an expensive jacket, grabbing champagne and shrimp cocktail, and me with my pot pie. I felt the tears coming and forced them back. Not here, not now. The line moved slowly, so slowly, and then I saw him. Would you have kept going to that store? Would you have bought that pot pie? Or would the shame have been too much? Let me know in the comments, because what happens next, it changed everything. The cashier at Register 4 looked about 16 years old, 17 at most. Slim build, dark hair that fell over his forehead, a name tag that read Tyler Brooks in block letters. But it was his eyes that caught my attention. Kind eyes, the kind that actually see people. He was helping an elderly man count out change, and I watched him wait patiently, not rushing, not sighing, just waiting. When the man finally finished, Tyler smiled and said, "You have yourself a wonderful Christmas, sir." The man's face lit up. "You too, son." That's when I knew. This boy had been raised right. The line crept forward, 6 people ahead of me, 5, 4. I clutched my pot pie tighter and checked my coin purse again. I'd counted the money 17 times that morning. $5.63. The pot pie was $4.99 plus tax. That would make it about $5.42. I had enough. Barely. 21 cents to spare. 3 people ahead of me now. A woman with a cart overflowing with groceries. She was buying everything. A turkey, stuffing mix, cranberry sauce, 3 different kinds of pie, wine, sparkling cider. Her total came to $214. She swiped her card without even looking at the screen. 2 people. A man buying last-minute gifts, scented candles, boxes of chocolate, expensive coffee. $106. He handed over his credit card and checked his phone while Tyler bagged everything. 1 person, a young woman, maybe 30, buying ingredients for what looked like a feast. Her total was $98. She paid, smiled at Tyler, wished him happy holidays, and left. And then it was my turn. I stepped forward, my hands shaking slightly, and placed the pot pie on the conveyor belt. Tyler looked up and smiled, a genuine smile. Not the tired, automatic kind. A real one. "Good morning, ma'am. How are you today?" His voice was warm, respectful, the way young people used to talk when I was a girl. "I'm well, thank you," I said quietly. "And you?" "Doing good, thank you for asking." He picked up the pot pie and scanned it. Beep. The register displayed the price, $5.42. I opened my coin purse and began taking out the bills and coins. My fingers fumbled. The quarters felt slippery. I could feel people behind me in line, waiting, watching. 5 $1 bills. That was easy. Then I started counting out the coins. 25 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents. I stopped. I counted again. Slower this time. 63 cents. That's all I had. I was 21 cents short. My face went hot. My throat tightened. I looked up at Tyler, and I saw something in his expression shift. Not annoyance, not impatience, concern. "And I'm so sorry," I whispered. I thought I had enough. Could we maybe put this back?" My voice cracked on the last word. Behind me, I heard someone sigh, loudly. Tyler glanced past me at the line, then back at me. He was quiet for a moment, and I could see him thinking. "Ma'am," he said softly, leaning forward slightly. "It's Christmas. You need this." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. "Then you're getting it." Before I could protest, he reached into his back pocket, pulled out his wallet, and took out a $1 bill. He opened the register, put the dollar in, and made change, 21 cents. He placed it in my hand. "Merry Christmas," he said quietly. I stood there, frozen. The pot pie was already in a plastic bag. He was holding it out to me. You don't have to." "I know I don't have to. I want to." His voice was firm but kind. "My mom always says if you can help, you help. So, I'm helping." Tears blurred my vision. I took the bag from his hands, my fingers brushing his for just a second. "Thank you," I whispered. "You have no idea what this means to me." He smiled again, that same warm, genuine smile. "Happy holidays, ma'am. Stay warm out there." I turned to leave, my legs unsteady, my heart pounding. And that's when I heard it. A woman's voice from somewhere in the line behind me, shaking, emotional. "Wait." I stopped. A woman stepped forward. She was maybe 50 years old, wearing a red coat, her eyes glistening with tears. She looked at Tyler, then at me, then back at Tyler. How much were her groceries? Tyler looked confused. $5.42, ma'am." The woman opened her purse, pulled out a $10 bill, and placed it on the counter. "I'm paying for hers. And keep the change for the next person." Tyler's eyes went wide. "Ma'am, that's really not—" "Please," she interrupted, her voice thick. "I need to do this. Please." He nodded slowly and processed the transaction. The woman turned to me. Tears were streaming down her face now. "My mother," she said quietly. "She died last year, alone, on Christmas Eve. I didn't visit her enough. I was always too busy, always had an excuse. And now—" Her voice broke. "I can't help her anymore. But I can help you." She reached out and squeezed my hand. Then she turned and walked quickly toward the exit, wiping her eyes. I stood there, stunned, completely speechless. And then another voice spoke up. A man this time, gruff, older. "How much does she owe now?" Tyler looked at him. "Nothing, sir. The previous customer." I heard, "I'm asking how much a week's worth of groceries would cost her." $50, $100. "Sir, I don't know." The man stepped forward. He was maybe 65, wearing a veteran's cap and a worn jacket. He pulled out his wallet and placed 5 $20 bills on the counter. "Give her a gift card, $100. She shouldn't have to worry about groceries, not at Christmas, not ever." He looked at me, his eyes fierce but kind. "My wife and I, we struggled once. Someone helped us. Now it's my turn." I opened my mouth to say something, but nothing came out. Tyler was staring at the money on the counter like he couldn't quite believe it was real. And then, chaos. The young mother with the toddlers pulled out her credit card. Add $20 to that card. A teenager in a hoodie reached into his pocket. "I've got 15. An older woman in the back of the line called out, "Put me down for 25. One by one, people started stepping forward, handing Tyler cash, offering amounts, $10, $20, $50. The energy in that store shifted. The impatience, the rushing, the stress, it all melted away, replaced by something else, something warm, something I hadn't felt in years. Connection. Tyler was moving as fast as he could, taking money, updating the gift card balance, his hands shaking slightly. People were smiling now, talking to each other. Strangers were becoming something more. I stood there in the middle of it all, clutching my pot pie, tears streaming down my face. The final total on the gift card, $467. Tyler handed it to me with both hands, like it was something sacred. "Ma'am, I don't even know what to say." I couldn't speak. I just shook my head, overwhelmed, and whispered, "Thank you, all of you, thank you." What I didn't know, someone had been recording the entire thing. I walked out of Save More that day in a daze. The cold December air hit my face, but I barely felt it. I clutched the plastic bag with my pot pie in one hand and the gift card in the other, and I just stood there on the sidewalk. $467 for groceries, for me. I started crying again, right there in the parking lot, an 82-year-old woman, sobbing in front of a grocery store 2 days before Christmas. But these weren't tears of shame anymore. These were different. These were tears of, I don't know, relief, gratitude, disbelief, maybe all three. I walked home slowly, my mind replaying everything that had just happened. Tyler's kindness, the woman in the red coat, the veteran, all those strangers reaching into their wallets, their pockets, their hearts. When I got back to my apartment, I sat at my kitchen table and stared at the gift card for a long time. I thought about Robert, about what he would have said if he'd been there. He probably would have cried too. He was like that, soft-hearted under all that gruff mail carrier exterior. I thought about Claire. Should I tell her? Would she be happy for me? Embarrassed? I wasn't sure. And I thought about Tyler Brooks, that young man who started it all. I didn't even get to thank him properly. Everything happened so fast. I decided I would go back to Save More after Christmas. I would find him, thank him again, maybe bring him some cookies or something. It was the least I could do. What I didn't know, what none of us knew, was that the story was just beginning. There was a woman in line that day. Her name was Natasha Chen, 34 years old, a social media manager for a marketing company in Nashville. She'd driven to Grayson Falls to visit her parents for Christmas and stopped at Save More to pick up some last-minute items. She was standing 6 people back when I reached the register. She told me later that she'd been scrolling through her phone, barely paying attention, until she heard me say I didn't have enough money. She looked up, and she watched everything that happened next. Tyler paying for my groceries, the woman in the red coat stepping forward, the veteran with the gift card, person after person, contributing. Natasha pulled out her phone and started recording, not in a voyeuristic way, not for clicks or clout. She told me later she just felt like she was witnessing something important, something that needed to be shared. She captured the whole thing. Tyler's face when people started offering money, my tears, the gift card being handed to me, the way the entire mood in the store shifted from rushed and stressed to warm and connected. When she got to her parents' house that evening, she uploaded the video to her TikTok account with a simple caption. "This is what Christmas is supposed to look like. Teen cashier pays for elderly woman's groceries. Then this happened." She posted it at 7:43 p.m. on December 23rd. By midnight, it had 50,000 views. By morning on Christmas Eve, it had passed 1 million. By Christmas Day, it had been viewed over 20 million times. 20 million. The video spread everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Local news stations started picking it up. Then regional news. Then national. CNN ran a segment. Good Morning America wanted an interview. The Ellen DeGeneres Show reached out. And I had no idea. I spent Christmas Eve cleaning my apartment and preparing my pot pie. I watched some old movies on TV. I called Claire to wish her a Merry Christmas. We talked for 20 minutes, and I didn't mention what had happened at the store. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to keep it private. Maybe I wasn't ready to share it yet. On Christmas morning, I woke up alone in my apartment. I made coffee, opened the curtains, and looked out at the gray Tennessee sky. For a moment, I felt that familiar ache, the loneliness, the loss, but then I remembered Tyler's face, the woman in the red coat, the veteran, the gift card sitting on my kitchen counter. And I smiled. I put my pot pie in the oven at noon, just like I'd planned. While it baked, I set the table. 1 plate, 1 fork, 1 napkin, 1 glass of water. But it didn't feel sad anymore. It felt okay. When the pot pie was ready, I said a quiet grace, not a long one. Just a simple thank you for the food, for the kindness of strangers, for still being here. And then I ate my Christmas dinner, alone, but somehow not really alone at all. The knocking started on December 26th. I was sitting in my living room, reading a book, when I heard it. Loud, insistent knocking on my apartment door. I opened it to find a young woman holding a microphone and a cameraman behind her. Margaret Porter. "I'm Jessica Williams from Channel 5 News. We've been trying to reach you. Can we talk to you about what happened at Save More?" I blinked at her, confused. "I'm sorry. What?" "The video. The viral video. You haven't seen it?" I had no idea what she was talking about. She showed me her phone, and there I was, standing in line at Save More, counting my coins, Tyler helping me, the woman in the red coat, the veteran, everything. "This has been viewed over 30 million times," she said. "People all over the world are talking about it, about you, about Tyler Brooks, about what happened in that store." I couldn't speak. I just stared at the screen, watching myself cry, watching strangers become something more. "Would you be willing to do an interview?" she asked gently. I shook my head. I need to think. I didn't know anyone was filming. "We understand. But people want to hear from you. They want to know your story." I closed the door softly and sat down on my couch, my hands shaking. 30 million people had watched the worst and best moment of my life. The knocking continued over the next few days. More reporters, more cameras, phone calls from news stations I'd never heard of, emails somehow finding their way to me, and the letters. Oh, the letters. They started arriving on December 28th. Dozens of them, then hundreds. Letters from all over the country, all over the world, people telling me their stories, sharing their struggles, thanking me for, I'm still not sure what, for being vulnerable, for accepting help, for crying in a grocery store. Many of the letters included money, $5, $10, $20, gift cards to grocery stores, restaurants, Amazon, checks made out to Margaret Ann Porter from people I'd never met. One letter came from a woman in Oregon. "My mother died alone last year. I was too busy with my own life to visit her. Your story broke my heart and woke me up. Thank you for reminding me what matters." Another from a man in Florida. "I'm a cashier too. I see people struggle every day, and I've been too afraid to help. Tyler inspired me. Yesterday, I paid for someone's groceries. It felt amazing." A woman from California sent a check for $500 with a note. "My husband and I own a successful business. We forget sometimes what it was like when we were struggling. Please accept this, and please know you matter." I sat at my kitchen table, reading letter after letter, crying until I had no tears left. But the strangest letter came in early January. It was handwritten, no return address, postmarked from Grayson Falls. I opened it carefully. "Dear Mrs. Porter, you don't know me, but I was in line behind you that day at Save More. I'm the one who recorded the video. I've been struggling with whether to reach out, but I felt like I needed to tell you something. My name is Natasha Chen, and 5 years ago, I lost my grandmother. She raised me after my parents divorced. She was everything to me. In her last years, she struggled financially. She was too proud to ask for help, and I was too young and stupid to notice. She died owing money she couldn't pay, eating meals she couldn't afford, living in a cold apartment because she couldn't pay the heating bill. When I saw you in that line, counting your coins, I saw her, and I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. When Tyler helped you, and everyone else followed, it was like watching the moment I wish I could have given her, the moment she deserved. I'm sorry I filmed you without asking, but I'm not sorry I shared it, because your story is helping people see each other again. It's helping people like me realize we can't wait. We can't assume our loved ones are okay. Thank you for being brave enough to show up that day. Thank you for accepting help. Thank you for reminding all of us what matters. With gratitude, Natasha. I folded the letter carefully and placed it in my Bible, next to Robert's obituary, next to the pressed flower from our wedding day, and I thought about all the invisible threads that connect us, the moments that change us, the strangers who save us without even knowing it. Have you ever been that person? The one who saw someone struggling and didn't know what to do? Tell me in the comments, because this story isn't over yet. While my world was turning upside down with letters and news interviews, Tyler Brooks was dealing with his own whirlwind. I didn't know this at the time, but Tyler's life was complicated. more complicated than a 16-year-old's life should be. His mother, Linda Brooks, was a single mom. Tyler's father had left when Tyler was 3 years old. Just disappeared one day. No explanation, no goodbye, no child support, nothing. Linda worked 2 jobs to keep them afloat. During the day, she was a receptionist at a dental office. At night, she cleaned office buildings downtown. Tyler rarely saw her. She'd leave before he woke up for school and come home long after he'd gone to bed. They lived in a small apartment on the south side of Grayson Falls. The rent was cheap because the building was falling apart. The heat didn't work properly. The water pressure was terrible. The neighbors were loud, but it was home. Tyler had been working at Save More since he turned 16, 6 months earlier. He worked 20 hours a week, every penny going toward groceries, utilities, and saving for community college. He dreamed of becoming a teacher, maybe high school history. He loved learning about people, about how moments in time could change everything. He was a good kid, quiet, responsible, the kind of kid who did his homework on his lunch break and never complained about anything. The $1 he gave me that day? That was part of his lunch money for the week. He didn't tell anyone that. Not his mom, not his manager, not the reporters who eventually tracked him down. When the video went viral, Tyler had no idea. He finished his shift that day, walked home in the cold, microwaved some leftover spaghetti, and fell asleep on the couch watching TV. On Christmas Eve, he worked another shift. The store was insanely busy, people buying last-minute everything. He rang up transactions for 8 hours straight, smiled at every customer, wished them all a Merry Christmas. He got home at 9 p.m. His mom was already asleep, exhausted from her double shift. Tyler ate cereal for dinner, wrapped the present he'd bought for his mom, a scarf from the dollar store, and went to bed. He woke up on Christmas morning to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The first text was from his coworker, Brianna. "Dude, you're famous. Check TikTok." Tyler didn't have TikTok. He didn't have time for social media, but he downloaded the app, searched his name, and found the video. He watched himself hand me that $1, watched the woman in the red coat step forward, watched the veteran create the gift card, watched the entire store come together. And he started crying. Not because he was famous, but because he was seeing, for the first time, what his small act of kindness had started. His mom woke up and found him sitting on the couch, tears streaming down his face, staring at his phone. "Tyler, baby, what's wrong?" He showed her the video. Linda Brooks watched in silence. When it ended, she pulled Tyler into her arms and held him tight. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "Your grandmother would be so proud of you." Tyler's grandmother had raised Linda the same way Linda was raising Tyler, with kindness, with compassion, with the belief that people matter more than money. She'd died 2 years earlier, and Tyler still missed her every day. By December 26th, the media had found Tyler. His manager at Save More, a woman named Donna Fletcher, called him at home. "Tyler, I need you to come to the store. There are reporters everywhere. They want to talk to you." Tyler didn't want to talk to reporters. He didn't want to be famous. He just wanted to go back to being invisible. But his mom convinced him, "Tyler, people need to see that goodness still exists. They need to see you." So he went. The Save More parking lot was packed with news vans, cameras everywhere, reporters shouting questions. Tyler stood behind a makeshift podium that Donna had set up near the entrance, looking terrified. A reporter from Channel 5 asked the first question. "Tyler, why did you help Mrs. Porter that day?" Tyler looked down at his hands, swallowed hard, then looked up. Because it was the right thing to do. She needed help, and I could help. It wasn't about the money. It was about, I don't know, treating people the way I'd want my mom to be treated if she was in that situation. His voice cracked a little on the last part. "Your mom must be very proud of you. another reporter said. Tyler nodded. She taught me everything. She's the reason I am the way I am. What do you think about the video going viral? Tyler thought for a moment. I think it shows that people are hungry for kindness. We see so much bad stuff online, so much anger and meanness. Maybe people just wanted to see something good for once. The reporters kept asking questions, but Tyler's answer stayed the same. He was just doing what felt right. He didn't think it was a big deal. He hoped people would focus on Mrs. Porter and all the other people who contributed, not just him. But the attention didn't stop. A local businessman offered to pay for Tyler's entire college education. A woman from New York sent a check for $10,000 to help his mom quit one of her jobs. Save More gave Tyler a raise and a promotion. And the letters. Tyler got letters too, hundreds of them, from teachers who said he inspired them, from kids who said they wanted to be like him, from elderly people who thanked him for seeing them. One letter stood out. It came from a man named Gerald Reeves, a veteran who lived 3 towns over. Tyler, I was in that store that day. I'm the one who started the gift card for Mrs. Porter. I want you to know why. 50 years ago, I came back from Vietnam, broken, angry, homeless. I was standing outside a grocery store in Atlanta, begging for change, when a teenager stopped and bought me a meal. He didn't lecture me, didn't ask my story, just bought me food and told me I mattered. That moment saved my life. It gave me the strength to get help, to rebuild, to become the man I am today. When I saw you help that woman, I saw that kid, and I knew I had to do something. I had to pass it forward. Thank you for reminding me why I'm still here. Tyler kept that letter in his wallet. He read it whenever he felt overwhelmed by the attention. In mid-January, something else happened. Save More's corporate office reached out to Donna Fletcher. They wanted to create a company-wide initiative inspired by Tyler's actions. They called it the Tyler Brooks Compassion Fund. Every Save More location in the country would have a small fund managed by employees to help customers in need. If someone couldn't afford their groceries, employees could use the fund to help. No questions asked. When they told Tyler about it, he cried. Again. I don't deserve this, he said quietly. Donna put her hand on his shoulder. Tyler, you started something. You reminded people that kindness isn't about deserving, it's about caring. But Tyler struggled with the fame. He didn't like the attention, didn't like being called a hero. He just wanted to go back to being a regular kid. At school, people treated him differently. Some kids thought he was amazing. Others thought he was showing off. A few accused him of doing it for attention, even though the video clearly showed he had no idea anyone was filming. Tyler started eating lunch alone, started avoiding eye contact in the hallways. His mom noticed. Tyler, talk to me. What's going on? I don't know how to be this person everyone thinks I am. I'm not a hero, Mom. I'm just me. Linda pulled him close. You are exactly who you've always been. Kind, thoughtful, good. The world is just finally seeing what I've always known. In late January, Tyler received a call from someone unexpected, me. I had finally worked up the courage to reach out to Save More and ask if they could connect me with Tyler. I wanted to thank him properly, to tell him what his kindness meant to me. Donna gave him my number, and he called me that evening. Mrs. Porter, this is Tyler Brooks. Tyler, oh Tyler, I've been hoping to talk to you. We talked for over an hour that first night. I told him about Robert, about Claire, about how lonely Christmas had been until he helped me, about the letters I'd been receiving, about how his one small act had created a ripple effect I still couldn't fully understand. And Tyler told me about his mom, about his grandmother, about his dreams of becoming a teacher, about how overwhelming everything had become. Tyler, I said softly, can I tell you something? Of course. You remind me of the students I used to teach, The ones who didn't just learn reading and math, the ones who learned kindness. You're going to be an amazing teacher someday, not because you're smart, though I'm sure you are, but because you see people, really see them, and that's the most important thing a teacher can do. Tyler was quiet for a moment. Then he said, voice thick, "Thank you, Mrs. Porter. I needed to hear that." We made a promise to each other that night. We'd stay in touch. We'd meet for coffee once a month. We'd be friends, and we have been, ever since. By February, the frenzy had started to calm down. The news crews moved on to other stories. The viral video became just another video in the endless scroll of the internet. But for those of us who lived it, everything had changed. First, there was me. That gift card, $467, changed my life in ways I never expected. For the first time in years, I didn't have to choose between groceries and medication. I didn't have to ration food or skip meals. I could buy fresh vegetables, real meat, coffee that didn't come from the dollar store. But more than that, I felt seen again. For so long, I'd felt invisible, like I'd become a burden, an inconvenience, someone to rush past in the grocery store line. But that day at Save More reminded me, I still mattered. My life still had value. My presence still meant something. I started going out more. I joined a book club at the library. I volunteered at the elementary school, helping second graders with reading, just like I used to. I even started hosting small dinners in my apartment. Nothing fancy, just soup and bread. But it felt good to have people around my table again. And Claire? Oh, Claire. She didn't see the video right away. She was in Boulder, surrounded by Daniel's family, trying to be present, trying to be helpful as his mother faced her final Christmas. But on December 27th, one of her co-workers sent her a text. "Claire, is this your mom?" With a link to the video. Claire clicked it, and her world stopped. She watched me standing in that line, counting coins, looking small and ashamed and alone. She watched Tyler help me, watched strangers step forward, watched me cry, and she realized I had been lying to her. For years, I wasn't fine, I wasn't okay, I was struggling, badly, and she hadn't known, or maybe she had known and hadn't wanted to see it. She told me later that she ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and sobbed for 20 minutes. Daniel found her there, sitting on the floor, phone in hand, unable to breathe. "I wasn't there," she kept saying. She needed help and I wasn't there. Daniel held her while she cried. Then he said something that changed everything. "Claire, you can't go back and change what happened, but you can change what happens next." She called me that night. It was late, almost 11 p.m. my time. I was in bed reading when the phone rang. "Mom," her voice was wrecked, raw. "Claire, sweetheart, what's wrong?" "I saw the video, the one from Save More." "Mom, why didn't you tell me?" I closed my eyes. "I didn't want you to worry." "You were counting change to buy a frozen pot pie for Christmas dinner, and you didn't want me to worry." "Claire, no, Mom. No more protecting me. No more pretending everything's fine when it's not. You were alone at Christmas. You couldn't afford groceries. And I was in Boulder eating prime rib and drinking expensive wine, and I had no idea. You were where you needed to be. I should have been with you." Her voice broke. "I should have known. I should have seen. God, Mom, what kind of daughter am I? A good one. The best one. I'm not. A good daughter would have noticed her mother was struggling. A good daughter would have—" "Claire." My voice was firm. "Listen to me. You are a wonderful daughter. You call me every Sunday. You check on me. You love me. And you were taking care of your mother-in-law during the hardest time of her life. That's exactly what you should have been doing. But you were alone. I was, and that was hard. But Claire, what happened at that store? It taught me something. It taught me that asking for help, accepting help, isn't weakness. It's human. She was quiet for a long moment. "I want to come see you," she finally said. "After the funeral, after we settle things here, I want to come home." "You don't have to." "Yes, I do. And Mom, we're going to have a real conversation about money, about how you're doing, about what you need. No more hiding. From either of us." "Okay," I whispered. "Promise me." "I promise." Claire came to Grayson Falls in mid-January. She stayed for a week. The first 2 days were hard. We cried a lot, fought a little, said things we'd been holding in for years. "Why didn't you tell me Dad's medical bills wiped you out?" she demanded, sitting at my kitchen table, looking at the stack of papers I'd finally shown her. "Because you were building your life. I didn't want to drag you down." "Drag me down. Mom, I'm your daughter. Your life is my life. Your problems are my problems. But you have Daniel, and your career, and I have a mother who needed help and was too proud to ask for it." That stung, because it was true. "I'm sorry," I said quietly. Claire reached across the table and took my hand. "I'm sorry, too. I should have pushed harder, should have visited more, should have seen the signs. We both made mistakes." "Yeah, we did." She squeezed my hand. "But we're going to fix this. Together." And we did. Claire spent the next few days going through my finances. She was shocked at how little I was living on, at how I'd been choosing between medication and food, between heat and groceries. "Mom, this isn't sustainable." "I'm managing." "You're not. You're barely surviving." She and Daniel had long conversations on the phone. I could hear her in my bedroom, voice low, urgent. On the 4th day, she sat me down. "Mom, Daniel and I have been talking. We want you to move to Boulder." My heart sank. "Claire, I can't move across the country. This is my home." I know this is hard. But Mom, we found a senior living community 15 minutes from our house. It's beautiful. Really beautiful. You'd have your own apartment, 1 bedroom, full kitchen, living room. But there's a dining hall if you don't want to cook, activities, a library, a garden, other people your age. "I can't afford." "We can. Daniel got a promotion last year. We have the money." And Mom, her eyes filled with tears, "I can't go another year worrying about you being alone here, wondering if you're eating, if you're okay. Please, please let us help you." I wanted to say no, wanted to insist I was fine, wanted to maintain my independence. But then I remembered Tyler, remembered accepting that $1, remembered how it felt to let someone help. "Can I think about it?" "Of course. Take all the time you need. But Mom, I'm not giving up. I'm not letting you disappear again." We spent the rest of the week together. Really together. We watched our old movies. We baked cookies. Well, I supervised while Claire did most of the work. My arthritis makes mixing hard now. We talked about Robert, about her childhood, about my years teaching. We laughed. We cried. We remembered what it felt like to be us. On her last night, we were sitting on my couch, drinking tea, when she said, "Mom, can I tell you something?" "Always?" "When I saw that video, when I saw you standing there, counting coins, I saw my future." I looked at her, confused. I saw myself, 40 years from now, alone. My daughter too busy with her own life to notice I'm struggling. And I realized, this is a cycle. You pushed me away because you didn't want to be a burden. And if I don't break that cycle, I'll do the same thing to my kids someday. "You don't have kids yet," she smiled. "Not yet, but someday. And when I do, I want them to see me taking care of you. I want them to learn that family shows up for each other, that asking for help is okay, that we're stronger together." I pulled her into my arms and held her tight. "When did you get so wise?" I learned from the best. I'm moving to Boulder in July. Claire found me the perfect apartment, 1 bedroom, a little balcony with a mountain view, close enough to visit, far enough for independence. I'm terrified and excited and grateful because that moment at Save More, it didn't just teach me about accepting help from strangers. It taught me about accepting help from the people who love me most. It taught me that letting Claire in, letting her help, letting her care, isn't burdening her. It's giving her the gift of being my daughter. And maybe that's the greatest gift I can give her. I've learned that vulnerability isn't weakness, that asking for help, or even just accepting it, can be the bravest thing we do. I've learned that kindness is contagious, that one small act can spark 1,000 more. I've learned that we're all connected in ways we don't always see, that the teenager at the grocery store and the elderly widow and the woman with the camera and the veteran with the gift card, we're all part of the same story. I've learned that it's never too late for things to change, that even at 82, even after loss and loneliness and shame, life can surprise you. And I've learned that sometimes God works through the smallest moments: a dollar bill, a frozen pot pie, a teenage boy with kind eyes. Tyler and I still meet for coffee once a month. We sit in a little cafe on Main Street and we talk about everything: school, life, dreams, memories. Last week, he told me he's thinking about becoming a history teacher after all, that he wants to teach kids about how small moments change the world. Like what? I asked, smiling. Like a teenager helping an old lady buy a pot pie, he said, grinning. I laughed. I'm not that old. You're 82. Details. We sat there in comfortable silence for a moment, sipping our coffee, watching people walk by on the sidewalk. And then Tyler said something that made me cry all over again. Mrs. Porter, can I tell you something? Of course, sweetheart. That day at Save More, when I gave you that $1, I almost didn't do it. I was scared people would judge me, scared my manager would be mad, scared it wouldn't be enough. He paused, looking down at his coffee. But then I thought about my grandma, about what she would have done, and I realized it's not about being enough. It's about trying. It's about showing up. He looked up at me, his eyes bright. Thank you for letting me show up for you that day. I reached across the table and took his hand. Tyler Brooks, you didn't just show up. You reminded all of us how to be human again. It's been over a year since that day in Save More. Over a year since I stood in line, counting coins, feeling invisible. And I still think about it every single day. Not because I'm famous. I'm not really. The internet has moved on. The news stories have faded. But because that moment changed me. It reminded me that I'm not invisible, that I matter, that my story isn't over yet. And it reminded me that kindness isn't about grand gestures or big money or dramatic rescues. It's about $1 bill. It's about seeing someone. It's about showing up. So let me ask you something. Where are you right now in your life? Are you the person counting coins, feeling invisible, wondering if anyone sees you? Or are you the person in line behind them, scrolling through your phone, rushing to the next thing? Or maybe you're the teenager at the register, wondering if your small act of kindness will even matter. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I want you to know something. You matter. Your kindness matters. Your showing up matters. And you never know. Your one small act might be the thing that changes everything. For someone else, for yourself, for all of us. Before I let you go, I want to ask you a favor. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone you love, if it made you think about kindness differently, would you leave a like? Would you subscribe to this channel? Because we need more of these stories. More reminders that goodness still exists. More moments that warm our hearts and challenge us to be better. Tell me your story. Share it in the comments. Because maybe, just maybe, your story will inspire someone else to show up, to be kind, to see people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for seeing me. And remember, it's never too late for kindness. It's never too small to matter. God bless you all. And Merry Christmas whenever you're watching this.